Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we've got the infotainment breakdown on the 2024 Lexus TX and its 14-inch infotainment screen and 12.3-inch, I think they call it a digital productivity screen, but it's a gauge cluster. In this video, we're going to go through how the screens work, how do you control them, how you do your basic functionality, try to answer any questions you might have. We're going to show how Apple CarPlay and Android Auto work, how to pair up a phone, and just anything else that's important for the system. But before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at the car. Entirely new and well-needed model for the Lexus lineup, the TX. Going to be riding smoother and a little bit more accommodating inside than the GX and LX predecessors, the large Lexus crossovers or SUVs, if you will. This one, pretty nice. It's a 500h model. I've enjoyed my time with it so far, but if you do want to see more on the car in general, check the link below. We've got our dedicated Mark Levinson sound system test, full review, fuel economy testing. All that will be linked below. Starting off right in front of us here with the digital gauge cluster. Now, if you get a basic TX, it doesn't come with this screen. I'm actually not 100% sure what it comes with. Maybe I can put a photo up here underneath if I can find one. I'm sure it's not something that Lexus is really bragging about, but with this larger screen, you control it with these haptic controls on the steering wheel. You sort of rub your finger around, and then up on the head-up display, it shows you what controls you're actually performing here, so what functionality. As you always see the screen, you're going to see your your speed and digital readout up on the very top center, outside temperature on the top left, and current time on the top right. A little bit of navigation happening in the middle, but that's actually customizable. You also have your gear selected right below the digital speed readout up there. And I also see, we got engine coolant on the bottom left, odometer on the bottom left, which I believe is toggleable over here, yep, between your odometer and trip selection right there, and your miles to needing your next service. And then on the bottom right, you're getting fuel as well as mileage to empty and status of certain safety features. Interesting. Now to customize these screen elements, you press this button down here on the wheel, toggle yourself to the DISP icons, and then click this button through or the other directional button, and you'll see different layouts. You can actually get one of 3 different customizable layouts for your gauge cluster here. In order to change what's on those layouts, you hold one of these side buttons, I suppose, and then you can use the up and down buttons to choose what you see in each screen. So for the center screen, we've got either a blank screen, driving support, a map, a second style of map, or blank. Let's do map 1 for that one. No, let's do map 2. And then we go to the left, and we can do the same thing. We can choose from fuel economy, EV ratio, what ratio in this hybrid model have we been driving on electricity, driving support, navigation, it's going to give you a compass, audio, what audio is playing, drive information, what does that give us, average speed and total time traveled, energy monitor, you can see where power is being sent and how much energy is left in your battery. Sports gauges, this is giving you coolant temp, oil temp, and looks like oil pressure. And a boost gauge, see how much boost you're building in your turbo and PSI. G-force meter, very necessary in a large Lexus crossover. And gear position. And then you've got a blank screen option over there. Let's see, do we get the same options over on the right side? I see drive info, energy monitor, sports gauges, boost gauge. Yep, looks like it's all the same stuff. So you can choose what of those different displays you want coming up, and then kind of set up 3 different menus for yourself, and then toggle between them. Perhaps a little bit overwhelming, but once you play around with it, it does kind of make sense how it works. So I highly recommend spend some time, play around with it in your driveway and get comfortable with how it works. Once you get it all set up, you can kind of just set 3 main screens depending on what sort of driving you're doing, cycle through them. Now let's make our way over to this 14-inch center touchscreen. This is going to be what you're getting in every Lexus TX model, and it's running Lexus's newest infotainment system, which I gotta say is quite good. You don't exactly have a home screen in this infotainment, but instead you almost always, except for when you're in Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, you've got this persistent menu on the left, which is giving you quick shortcuts and toggles to your kind of main applications, if you will. And then on the top, you're getting a clock, some status about your phone that's connected, and a quick, I think that's going to just tell you what audio is playing right there. And then you've got climate controls down on the bottom that are predominantly digital. You can get your defroster on with a manual button down here, and then you can also change your temperature with physical dials, but most of it's digital, and it's not the worst because it does stay up. I guess if you bring up a screen like this, you can full screen it, and then it takes away some of the climate controls. That's a little bit frustrating. I'm bummed that Lexus couldn't have built it in somehow, but it's cheap for them, and it's a pretty efficient use of space. Here you see your navigation. Lexus has a nice mapping software that they use. It's showing you live traffic information. It's also very easy to use with your voice. I'll show you that here in a little bit. You can pinch and zoom, move around, change the direction of north on the map. A lot of functionality. There's a little bit of a delay you can see there. Not super smooth, but definitely not the worst navigation we've used in a car. Moving down the left side, we get to our media screen. And from here, if we had audio playing, let's enable this audio. Then you can see what we're playing here on our USB drive. If we wanted to change to a different source, we'd click right here on sources. We have the option for radio, USB, Apple Music, and Amazon Music. If we go up into radio, then that gives us the option here to choose from FM radio, AM radio, or Sirius XM. HD radio is supported for both FM and AM. You can see it gives you your favorites listed through there, so you can quickly get to channels. Again, one of the things I don't love about this Lexus and Toyota infotainment system is the contrasts aren't very strong between the different selectable buttons. So it makes for a busy screen on your eyes, and it's a bit tough to pick out where the different buttons start and stop and end. But it's all there. It's all fairly straightforward. It's just busy on your eyes. Moving down on the left side, we get to our phone screen. Now, we don't have any devices connected now, so we'll turn back to that after we connect some of our devices. Then we get a vehicle menu. This is going to start to get into some of the settings and adjustments you might want to make for your vehicle as you're driving around. The first one is the drive mode. This TX gives us normal, sport, eco, and a custom drive mode. If we customize that drive mode, we can choose between sport, normal, and eco powertrain settings, suspension settings, steering settings, and air conditioning settings. So set that for how you might want it to be, and then maybe you'll just have your custom mode all the time. I don't know. Below that, seat control options. This is going to give you the ability to fold the third row seats from the screen. Right? There we go. You can see that's coming down. I can cancel it and then raise it back up. It's nice to be able to do that from the screen. I'm glad Lexus gave you that option. Coming back, we have driving assist. Now, this Lexus TX is filled with a lot of safety assist features. You get a lot both in the standard car, and then I think you get even more here in the upgraded models. And if any of them are annoying you, this is where you're going to turn them on or off. One of which might be particularly irksome to you could be the proactive driving assist. This actually slows the car down if it sees the car in front of you slowing down. And I don't mean in emergency situations, I just mean in standard driving situations. As you slow, or as the car in front of you slows, this one slows down. Some people don't like how it feels like the car is driving for you, so you can turn that off right there. Same with a lot of the other settings like lane departure warning and rear cross traffic alert. Coming back, trip information. This is going to give you information on your average speed, trip range, and what sort of fuel economy you've been getting over your trips. Back to vehicle. Energy flow, if you want to see where power is being sent from both your engine, your drive motor, your wheels, and your battery status. You can do that right there. All-wheel drive, same thing. You can see where power is being sent to all 4 different wheels. You can see a live tire pressure readout. This is nice to have. See if you've got any low tires, maybe different elevation changes or temperature or a puncture. You can see that there. And vehicle alerts. If you had anything wrong with your vehicle, maybe a low tire pressure or if it were due for maintenance, that would pop up there. Moving down further, we get the settings screen. Here we see current driver and saved profiles. This is a really nice feature with the newer Lexus products and this infotainment system is you can set up Lexus profiles and they will track the driver from Lexus product to Lexus product and save settings such as their radio presets, their climate settings, maybe different layouts for the gauge cluster. So it's useful from going from car to car, but it's also useful from driver to driver. So if you share this vehicle with somebody else in your household, then if that other person gets in with their key or their digital key or simply selects their profile, it'll adjust the seat controls and the radio and all those different customizable settings to their setup. Definitely nice to have. Below that, you've got personal information. You can name the car, see what devices are connected, And this car even has face identification, so you can set those profiles to match up with the face. You can link or unlink those through this personal info settings. Bluetooth devices, we'll get back to that after the settings screen. General settings, you can turn the screen beep on or off. I don't think that's a very pleasant screen beep sound, so I typically leave that off, but that is an option. You can also adjust the sensitivity of your screen. Perhaps if you drive with gloves regularly, you might want to have that screen sensitivity up on 3. Date and time, typically the time's going to be set by GPS, but if for some reason you wanted to modify those time settings, you could turn that off and adjust your clock there. And you can also choose to have a 24-hour clock from the screen. Down in language and units, you can choose between English, Spanish, and French. And you can have your units be set automatically, so perhaps if you were to drive to Canada or Mexico, it would automatically flip and use kilometers per hour where needed. Continuing through the settings menu, notifications, you can choose what you want to be notified about, software updates, or if you want navigation alerts while you're on the phone. A lot of different settings there for different things you can be notified about. Under Wi-Fi, this vehicle has both a Wi-Fi hotspot functionality that you can pay monthly for and provide Wi-Fi hotspot to other devices in the vehicle, or you can connect it, I shouldn't say or, and you can connect it to a Wi-Fi setting, maybe a Wi-Fi connection perhaps in your house in order to receive things like software updates. So 2 separate functionalities there, both useful. Under display, we can choose automatic or manual display modes because you can choose between a nighttime and a daytime setting. It's on nighttime now, but if I choose daytime, there you can see the screen is much brighter. It's more of a white setup. Might be a little harsher on your eyes, but also might be a little bit easier to see. You can also turn the brightness up, something I should have done before shooting these videos. I always forget to do that. And then when I get to this part of this video, I'm like, oh man, I should have done that. You could also turn the display entirely off here. So maybe you're driving down a country road in the middle of the night and you want the screen off, a little bit less harsh on your eyes. You can have it off right there. To turn it on, simply touch the screen and it comes back. Under camera settings, you can also adjust how bright the camera is when it comes up for your backup and surround camera and adjust the contrast settings there. Continuing down, sound and media. This is how you're going to adjust the different levels for your phone ringtones, the voice assistant. You're going to turn surround sound on or off, which seems to be turning on by itself. That's a bit frustrating. And adjust your treble, mid-range, and bass settings, as well as balance and fader. You also got some different settings for HD radio and Sirius XM there in the sound and media setting. Under the navigation settings, a lot of different options here for, say, showing speed limits or traffic information, showing your different points of interest, maybe places to park or your home or work. You're going to set up a lot of those different preferences there. Also, route options. This is very helpful if you're going to use your navigation regularly. Do you want the vehicle to avoid tolls for you or highways or ferries? Various settings you can select there. Under Vehicle Customize, you can choose a lot of different settings. There's so many in this new Lexus system. Head-up display, you can turn the head-up display on or off if it's something you don't care for up and on the windshield for you there. You can also adjust how high it is and what angle it's set at. Under meter, you can actually choose different gauge cluster setups right here. Now, I think that would be, let's see if I move over to here. There we go, okay. Oh, go back, a little bit of a delay there. We can see now I've got kind of a power meter going along the top of the screen. Now I've got the, more of a traditional look right there. Okay. And then kind of that modern setup. I'm going to go with the more traditional setup for now just to try that out for a while. Tachometer, got some settings for that too. Oh, you can switch through your gauge displays from this center screen as well if you don't want to have to use screens there. Stoplights display. This actually shows you when I have my brake lights on. When I press the brake pedal, it shows me on the screen there. Some people like having that, but it could be frustrating, so you could turn it off. A lot of different options there for indicating if you're in EV mode or have your rev indicator on, various options. Lights, if you want your headlights to turn on automatically when it gets dark outside, you can adjust the sensitivity for those right here. You can also turn your daytime running lamps on or off, and you can adjust how long the headlights stay on after you get out and lock the vehicle. Under illumination, you've got different light settings you can use. We've got all these fun different names for the ambient lighting inside. Daylight, white, bamboo, meteor, or simply go down and choose a custom color. You can pretty much choose any color of the rainbow right here for the different ambient lights inside the vehicle. And you can also adjust the brightness of the lights inside, even by front, rear, and foot. That's nice that Lexus is giving you that customization there. Under door control, you can have the door set to on auto lock or unlock depending on the situation. Also, if you want to hear a beep tone when you lock or unlock the door, that's definitely helpful, and it's nice that you can adjust the loudness of that tone. That's good. It's nice that cars give you this customization. It's all a software thing and they don't give you that customization option, I get frustrated. Lighting or boarding and exit. Right now the car is set so that it slides the seat back and lifts the steering wheel up as I get out to make it easier to get in and out of. You can turn that on or off. Settings for your custom drive mode are found there. Tire pressure settings, if you wanted to set maybe a different tire pressure setup so the vehicle learns it differently, you can do that right there. Steering switch. Okay, you can customize the default layout of these two haptic controls on the steering wheel. And winter gloves mode, again, is going to make these more sensitive in case you're wearing gloves. Under climate, you can adjust some settings for automatically heating or cooling the seats, and how long you want the heated steering wheel to stay on if you want it to time out after a certain amount of time. And under utility, a few different options here to turn on or off your 1500 watt wall style outlet back here, adaptive cruise control settings, active sound control. Okay, that's interesting. You can actually make this car has sound noise canceling inside, and that's interesting that you can change the level up. But we'll drive it around and maybe play with a few of those options while we're driving throughout the week. And a rear seat reminder, if you have kids, you might want to have that on. Make sure you don't forget a baby in the back. Okay, so that's all of our main menus. And I should point out, from virtually any of those screens, you can press this button right here and get a voice command search button. So let's get right into the voice commands right now. This is a fairly smart natural language processing system, so you should be able to speak pretty naturally to it. And I think we should have a wake word, although I didn't see any settings for that. Hey, Lexus. Navigate to Starbucks.
I found 15 results. The first is Starbucks at Lake Forest Drive. Would you like to go to that one?
Yes.
Starting route to Starbucks. Did you know that I can answer general inquiries? Just say, hey Lexus, discover general knowledge.
There you go, that's what I was saying. So that's our navigation starting up. And you can also, so you can use that wake word, the hey blank word. You can also use one of these haptic buttons. Yep, voice command down here. Cancel navigation.
Canceling trip.
And you can use that center button that I showed you on the screen. What's the weather like tomorrow?
Here is the weather for Lake Forest, California on Wednesday, December 6th. Mostly sunny and nice.
Not too bad for middle of December. All right, let's pair up a phone. Let's start off with our iPhone. So if you've got an iPhone here, you're going to bring it to the settings screen and go to Bluetooth. Now that you have that screen open, you're going to go on your Lexus vehicle, click the phone icon, and then click Connect a Device. Now, if you already have a device connected, you might have to access it through the settings screen and then go to Bluetooth and Devices and add another device. Now, I see that the fleet company did not delete anybody else's phone, so I'm going to have to go in here and remove some other devices that are connected to this car in order to connect a new device. You can have up to 5 devices connected at one time, or rather memorized by the car. Okay, now let's manage devices and add a new device. Down here on my iPhone, I see Lexus LMX. I'm going to select that, press pair, and accept on any screens that come up on the phone or the vehicle. And then when it prompts me to use CarPlay, I will use CarPlay, and I'm not going to replace my primary device. I am going to enable Apple CarPlay. And there we have it, Apple CarPlay taking up the entire screen. Now, interestingly, it's not the highest resolution CarPlay I've ever seen, which on one hand does make it easier to press the buttons, but it doesn't look as crispy as it does in some other luxury vehicles. Also, I'm seeing a lot of display lag. Refresh rate not very high. Let's open up Google Maps, see how that looks. With Apple, you cannot pinch to zoom, but it does look like we are getting the dragability option here. Looking good. How about Apple Music, or rather YouTube Music? What are we getting from our download mix today? Some Ariana Grande. Okay, that's what your full screen playing is going to look like. And then if we go home, that's what it looks like with your maps and your music playing. All right, let's disconnect this device and we'll show you how to pair up an Android phone, as well as what the Bluetooth screen looks like and Android Auto. Same process, you're going to bring up the Bluetooth settings screen on your Android device, and down here under the Bluetooth and devices under the car, I'm going to add another device, start searching for it here on the phone. I see Lexus LMX, just like we did with the iPhone. Pair, and OK. Not going to replace the primary device, and I'm not going to yet start Android Auto because I want to show you how the phone's screen will look on the car without using Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. So now we're paired just by Bluetooth, and if we go to this phone screen, then you see different menus on the left for your favorite contacts, all of your contacts, your recent calls, and a keypad. So you could dial in a number and your text messages right there. But when you're ready to use Android Auto, you go back down into Bluetooth and devices, choose your device, and hit use for Android Auto. And there we go. We've got Android Auto up on the screen. Coming up again, taking up the entire screen. There's your split screen layout for both your maps, Google Maps there, which you do have the pinch to zoom ability now on Android. And then you've got your YouTube Music as well. Some Audio Slave this time, okay. If we click on that, it's going to bring up YouTube Music full screen, allow us to go through our different library items, and then we can go back home. Let's bring up Google Maps full screen. Very fluid. And I should point out, with both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, if you do want to get back to your normal Lexus home screen, you have to bring up all of your apps and choose Lexus, which is typically pinned to the top left of your app screen. And there you have it, the Lexus TX's 14-inch infotainment display. Any other questions that I didn't get to, please let me know in the comments. I'll try to answer them retroactively. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.